And time to take a look at what's been making headlines in newspapers around the world. And for that, I'm joined in the studio by Alison Sargent. Hello, Alison.
Hi, Annette.
We're starting in the UK, where newspapers there are focusing on Theresa May's fierce defence of her draft Brexit deal ahead of Sunday's summit.
That's right. On Sunday, EU leaders will need to be signing off on that deal. But for now, Theresa May is still facing a lot of opposition at home, particularly from the conservative press, as usual. I can show you my favorite front page from today. This is right-wing tabloid The Sun, dubbing the day Black FriMay. The Sun characterizes the deal as good for the EU, who, quote, takes £39 billion from us, but bad for Britain, who takes, quote, diddly squat. You can see this playing out in a cartoon from The Telegraph. We see here Theresa May and Jean-Claude Juncker enjoying a flexible relationship. As you can see, it looks far more enjoyable for him than it does for her. Critics have also been calling the deal the blindfold Brexit because of how vague it is, and we see that depicted in this cartoon from The Times, a blindfolded Theresa May trying to pin the deal on the Brexit, but instead she's headed straight out that open window. Finally, another Telegraph cartoonist, Matt, seems to think people might end up accepting the deal because, as we see this man saying, a bad deal is better than no deal. And it is, after all, Black Friday, or Black FriMay, if you prefer.
Now, many in the UK may feel that it's a bad deal for them, but Spain isn't that too happy either, are they?
They're not. Spain's disagreement with the UK over the status of Gibraltar is really the biggest stumbling block going into Sunday's meeting. As we read here in El País, Spain's prime minister has threatened to veto the deal unless Gibraltar is excluded from it. Spain contests the peninsula's sovereignty and wants to hold separate negotiations with the UK over its future status. Many of the Spanish papers are really backing up the Spanish government today. Conservative paper ABC behind me here says on its front page that May and the EU are marginalizing Spain with this deal. Another conservative paper, El Mundo, writes that Spain cannot give up its claim to Gibraltar. They say there must be negotiations between London and Madrid, and for that paper, it's a red line that can't be crossed.
And I can't resist saying between a rock and a hard place. Okay, moving on. As Europe battles over Brexit, former US presidential candidate Hillary Clinton has given the EU some rather controversial advice on immigration policy.
She has. Hillary Clinton told The Guardian newspaper that the EU should limit immigration in order to fight against populism. According to Clinton, immigration really lit the flame of populism in Europe and in the US. Now, the paper interviewed her as part of a series that it's been putting out over the course of the week about the rise of populism in the world. Clinton said that while she admired the compassionate approach of Angela Merkel, Europe has to send a clear message that they won't be able to continue providing refuge and support. Now, The Guardian notes in this article that Clinton's comments are likely to spark controversy in Europe, and indeed they have. Much of the response has been coming in online, and BuzzFeed has a pretty good roundup of it. Many people pointing out that Clinton isn't really the person who should be giving advice about stopping populists, given that she lost the election to Donald Trump. Her words were met with praise by one group, Annette, and I'm sure you can guess who they are. Populists were retweeting her comments.
Yes, no surprise there. And moving to Japan, where the government has come up with a rather innovative way of dealing with the city's booming population.
All right, the Japanese government is considering a plan to pay people to move away from Tokyo. According to courts, they're considering paying people up to $27,000. They write that while Japan's overall population is declining, the capital, Tokyo, just keeps continuing to grow. In fact, nearly 1 out of every 3 people that live in Japan live in the Tokyo area. The website says a lot of young people actually want to move out of the city, but they can't. Japan is so centralized, it's unlikely that, that logistically that's even possible for them because of their jobs, which actually made me think of the French capital. And I don't know about you, Annette, but I think I would be willing to leave Paris for $27,000.
The thing is, you need to have a job to go to, and that's the problem. Now, we're going to end with a story about another tiny baby boom here in Paris, and it is a rather lovely story where traffic on Metro Line number 6 here in the French capital was held up on Wednesday when a woman gave birth inside one of the carriages.
She did, and luckily there was a doctor in that carriage to help her with the process. She and her baby boy are both doing well. His name is Ousmane. France's metro system, the RATP, tweeted out a birth announcement after this incident. They also awarded Ousmane a free metro pass valid until he is 25 years old. That's actually become standard practice when babies are born in the metro in Paris, because it does happen every couple of years. Last June, a baby was born on the RER and also got a free 25-year metro card. Worth it? I don't know. We'd have to ask the mom.
Well, at least they didn't name him after line number 6.
It's true. It would have been Glacière. That was the station.
the nearest metro station.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, Alison. And if you want to take a look at the stories that we've just been chatting about, you can, of course, head to our website, that being france24.com.